where are we headed, you know?
It is. It really
Yeah.
is. And I remember we're live, so just be careful anything you say now. I'm gonna go in and tag you. But
Okay.
I remember when I reawoke in 2011, and then I had a couple years on the streets, and then I got off the streets, and I had already been given like the information or the name or the whatever of Soulogy, and I was doing Soulogy. Even when I was on the streets, I was writing, but no pictures or anything, just writing and sending up my poetry and songs and stuff. I mean, Soulogy was like 600 people, 800 people, something like that. But when I got my own place and I created the original Soulogy One studio, uh, my uh,
Yeah.
my direction or guidance was, you need to like expand this now. You need to make videos. This is when nobody was doing videos, and they said, and you need to use music for it because music is a universal language. And
Yeah.
so I went through like I did like, I don't know, I did a lot. I mean, I think I did like 400 videos in the first 9 months, and many of them were me in the studio just playing great music, and then
Yeah.
just commentating on it. But it's always brought me where I need to be. That's why I said. So at night, I sit out in the patio in the courtyard here in this house I'm in, and I play music. I listen to music, and some of it in my headphones, and some of it I'll play on the Bluetooth, and then I write a lot of verse and a lot of. I'm playing with a lot of different stuff that different arrangements, or I kind of look at it like a semantic and a geomantic arrangement. You might have, three lines, three lines, three lines, or I play with like 7 7 7, or just,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the rhyming and the cadence of it. Yeah, I've always, and then I've had, like I think I told you before, because I've never really focused on it like 100%. I don't know if I ever will, but I've sat in with a lot of pretty strong musicians and artists in my work over the years, and had some incredible spontaneous improvisational collaborations that have really meant a lot to me. And because I don't know, it's like I go back and look, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I even do that on my part? And then you realize it's this dynamic where you're actually kind of merging with the others that are there. And there's like this unspoken communication or above telepathy thing that's happening, and everybody knows when to go. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
would be the least experienced of all of them, but and then I look back and go, wow, that was a very special moment, because it was, I don't know, man. I mean, you do it every week, and but there's something about, even in public speaking, because I've done public speaking all my life. There's something about walking out there, and what's that Tupac song, All Eyes on Me?
Yeah.
And like, there's something about that vulnerability where you can either stay nervous, or I don't think you, for me, it's like you always have a little bit of nervousness, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's almost like, you know, it's almost like, well, I guess it's like walking through fear,
Yeah.
and just letting go. And like my soul's been telling me for like the last couple of months, which makes a lot of sense to me, and I think it's along the lines of what I'm trying to hopefully trying to explain well to you, which is act like nobody's watching you, and so meaning that be yourself, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
don't worry about embarrassing yourself. Don't even worry about the eyes on you. Just act like nobody's watching you, because there's something about that balance, or whatever that is, that I think is what I'm trying to connect to the stories I was telling you, where oh wow, I can actually do that in the moment, whether it be a musical collaboration, or whether it be a show, or whether it be a conversation, you meet a stranger, or anything else that involves some type of expression. Because to me, every single moment, creativity is like one of my five, you know, main pillars. I believe creativity is is usable in every single moment, not just in artistic expressions, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're live, man. And
Yeah.
I did. Let me see here. I did tag you. Yeah, so it should come up on your page. Let me just double check and make sure YouTube's on. So we had a kind of a short show with some tech issues last time. This was about 2 months ago. It was longer than that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, we got a few people in the house. This is going to be a little bit different show. Carl's an old friend. He came on a few years ago. We connected. I saw him doing some music. This was years ago. I want to say like 6, 7 years ago. And he came
Yeah.
on the show. And I think I was in Hawaii at the time. And then we reconnected a few months ago. And I didn't have a great internet. Now I have Starlink Mini now, so I don't have an issue. I can go on top of a mountain. And I'm going to get, you know, full blown signal. But Carl is not just an artist and a musician. He's a really cool dude. He's tapped in. He lives in New York City, and he plays in some of the venues down there in the Village, in Brooklyn, Midtown, Manhattan, and the thing about him is he has he's tapped in also to what is my favorite kind of music, and I love all kinds of music, which is really authentic blues. And I think there's something to that because you know the blues came from you know the field hollers, and the field hollers came from basically indigenous in some form or fashion, and it's a very soulful kind of thing. And I used to say in my old videos back in the old studio when I'd play blues, and I'd say, you know, back on you know in those days they had the church on Sunday, but sometimes the Friday and Saturday night blues jams and dances did more for those people than the church on Sundays. There was something very spiritual about it. So he's tapped into it, and we're going to talk a little bit. He's going to play some music, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I want to stick around for it because I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be unique, a little bit different than what we usually have on Soulogy, but I'm really excited about it. So welcome, Carl.
Thank you, Todd. Yeah. Yeah. Traditional blues. You were mentioning about the church and such too. You know, they're both completely about community, I suppose, and you know, some of the artists that recorded in the 1920s, like Blind Willie Johnson, he's always been considered a blues musician, but his songs are all spiritual. They were all spirituals, what they would call sacred tunes at that time. They called non-spiritual tunes. They would call them reels, but he was really doing all like gospel type songs. But he would bring up a lot of questions, you know, like Big Bill Broomsey always really spoke very honestly in his songs. And so does Blind Willie Johnson, you know, while he was doing spiritual stuff or things like that, he was also asking questions, you know, like one song that he would play was called "What is the Soul of a Man?" And he'd go through all different ways that, you know, people want to speak with certainty about spirituality or about God or the spirit. It was really beautiful because he wasn't so certain, you know, but it was spiritual songs, but he was considered a blues musician. And I think that those two things, I mean, they're both all about the human condition, you know, the spiritual songs and blues, both, you know, they really don't beat around the bush. It's not talking about frivolous things. It's talking about these questions that, you know, for a pensive person are going to be a question in your mind all through your life. You know, so there's so many questions in life that we're never going to have answers to. You know, and I guess that's really the liberating part of blues is that you can have uncertainty, like you mentioned, nervousness and things like that. You can have all those experiences, and you can just go ahead and sit honestly with them. You know, and just accept the truth. That is uncertainty, the certainty that is uncertain, you know, and that is the beauty of it. That's undoubtedly what makes blues continually such an honest and you can't do it with, if it's not heartfelt, it's not happening, I suppose, and I don't, and I guess it just, like we can tell, like sometimes a non-musician will be like, well, I don't really know anything about music. And I always think, well, of course you do. You know as much as anyone else could,
Yeah.
We all know what feels right. We all know what feels honest, and accepting uncertainty that is blues
Yeah.
inherently,
I think,
that's
yeah, go ahead.
that's what makes it so beautiful, to me, is uh, I don't have to be certain about anything, except when I feel a rhythm that feels just right. Well, that's about as close to the creator as I think we can get.
Yeah.
Music and rhythms. I mean, that's absolutely where meditation comes from,
Yeah.
where spirituality comes from. Like they'll say, if a choir is all singing together, their heart rates also start to sync up.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it all.
You said so much there. I gotta interject a couple of things because I think they're connected. One of them, I was watching a video on YouTube recently, and it was about these people that would take people in a boat, and they would basically go into the water to see the whales. And
Yeah,
the whales, and these are big whales. I don't know one whale from the other, but these are the pretty good sized whales, like the ones that you see jumping out of the bay here in Mexico, a certain time of the year. But so what would happen is the whales would decide if they wanted to swim with the people. That was the first thing. And then the second thing was that they would start singing. The whales would start singing, and the people would have to come up to the surface because they would be so moved in their hearts, right? They'd be so moved in their hearts. And then the other thing that you bring to mind too about the blues is because as a lyricist, I love words. And what you were talking about, speaking authentically and honestly, and considering the work I've been doing for the last 14 years, that's always been kind of what I'm chasing. And the other part of it is to make people think. So that would be two of it. And then the third one is to sit with your emotions, which is what came through and what you were talking about as well, is to actually, you know, let it all out there and sit with that sound and sit with that story and sit with that human condition. But there is something in blues which for me is similar to at least how I feel about my work, which is that the human and the soul are equally presented. There's
yeah,
not one that's lesser than the other. This is actually the gold of being in the present experience and being afforded an opportunity to express the inspiration of it all, really. So thank you for
yeah.
letting me interject that, and I'll let you take it back over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny, it's like you mentioned about nervousness and things like this. Um, but the songs, it's like they all speak so well to all the different experiences that we have, so they can speak for themselves. I mean, the hope for me when I play is really like is to kind of disappear behind the song, and when I look up and I see people with their eyes closed and they're maybe looking down, and you can see they're tapping their foot or whatever, however they're experiencing the songs. That's what I like the best, because it's allowing us to all kind of go into this same experience. It's like that shared kind of spiritual experience of just letting things be, letting the rhythm just kind of take it rather than the nervousness, like you were saying, like do it as though nobody's watching you or things like this. But it's also, to me, it's very much the music gets fed by the crowd. If we look up and we're having a little joke in between songs, or we're looking up and we're sharing a smile, that's when it really becomes empowered, when the music can really be unabashedly itself and be bigger or smaller, dynamic, however it wants to be, you know. That song by Blind Willie Johnson that I had mentioned is a song called "What Is the Soul of a Man," and we did when I played just to make sure that you would hear it okay. I didn't really play loud, but this song gets a little loud, so hopefully it'll translate okay. But
I can control the volume a bit from here, so you're all right.
okay. Somebody tell me, answer UK. Won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man? Yes, I'm going to ask the question, answer UK. Won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man? Travel to foreign countries, travel to distant lands, and nowhere they could tell me what is the soul of a man. So I'm bound to ask the question, answer if you can. Won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man? Walked up on people talking, walked up right on time, and I listened to the doctors and the lawyers telling me that man ain't nothing but mine. So won't somebody tell me, answer if you can. Won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man? Tried to read the Bible often, tried to read it right, and nowhere could tell me that a man is more than his mind. So won't somebody tell me, answer if you can. Won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man? Somebody tell me, answer if you can. Won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man? Oh, I'm bound to ask the question, answer if you can. Won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man? Well, won't somebody tell me what is the soul of a man?
Boom.
I don't know how well that did that come in okay on the mic.
Yeah, it came through. I can control the output from but yeah, I didn't have to move it much at all. It didn't get too loud. It was good, very good. The energy of your playing, I think, strained your signal for about 20 seconds. It was pretty cool. I watched it go down to red and then it went back up to the yellow. Yeah, I remember hearing that song. I had years ago, like 20 years ago. Yeah, I was gifted it was one of those was a triple CD set with a little booklet in it, and
Yeah.
it was all the chronological history of the blues from like the 1910s. And
Yeah.
that song was in there, and I always loved that song.
Was
That's
that
a real.
that was a Scorsese collection? Is that what it
No,
was?
it came out before that. It was back when I used to collect CDs and spent a lot of time in bookstores. I can't remember the name of it. I can see it, but
Yeah.
it was pre Scorsese. It was actually better. I think there was probably, I want to say there was like 75 songs on it. So it was
Wow.
very
Yeah.
thorough. Yeah, it was very thorough. I mean, it had like Memphis Minnie, had like Charlie Patton. It had
Yeah.
like, Luther Allison in the 70s. It had, just everybody. It was just a who's who, Bobby Bland, who's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, so many
Yeah.
people, the Kings and all that. But Albert Collins, but yeah, and then listening to that version was you do a great your own spin on it, your own rendition, but you still carry that original authenticity, which I think is really powerful,
I
really
appreciate
powerful.
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I like to try to keep it as I kind of think of it this way, like learning the song or recording a song, I try to do it as cleanly and close to that artist as I can, the way they played it, not necessarily all the little inflections, because all of us have our own personalities and abilities, or difference of abilities. But I kind of think of it as, those guys, they recorded in the 20s and they were doing it under the very particular direction of who was recording them,
mhm.
what the lyrics should be about and things like this. Like when Robert Johnson was recording down in Texas, they were asking him to give them songs about particular subjects. And so that's how a couple of his tunes, I'm pretty sure, may have been written right on the spot because of what they were looking for from him. But
Wow.
then when guys would go and they would play in juke joints and fish fries and things like that on the weekends, it got a lot more wild. It was a lot less limited, and they were really able to just play how they wanted. And so while we have all these recordings from the 20s that are beautiful renditions of those songs, the way those fellas played, the way they were playing in juke joints undoubtedly was a lot different. Of course, none of that stuff. I mean, maybe none of that was really ever recorded. The music in the jukes themselves.
Yeah. Well, I think what is it, Junior Kimbrough, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's all he did. I think the people went
yeah.
in and, but that sound that you're talking about, like that, somebody wrote, my friend Eve is watching on YouTube, and she said the blues makes my body move, and I think music does in general, but there is something about, and you're bringing up the fish fries and the juke joints. There's something about that, like you see old videos, black and white, of Checkerboard Lounge or Howlin' Wolf, or even Sun House, and you see these people, and it's all smoky, and the band is like 6 feet from you,
Yeah, yeah,
and you see these people all sweaty and just like grinding, and not in a pornographic way, just like it's that deep. It's like enters every cell of your body.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's to me, I guess, one of the reasons that if I have to choose a favorite, that's my favorite kind of music, because it has that. It has that, whether it's from the 20s or Stevie Ray in the 70s or 80s. It's like
Yeah,
there's this element that electrifies or lights up every cell of my body. And I believe
yeah,
obviously, like you're talking about the rhythm, there's a poetry to it. And then the bass line, like John Lee Hooker, or just if they've got a drummer, or I mean, there's something about the beat that seems to come from our roots or something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah. And the notes of blues also is very elementary. I feel like, to the way we've always sang. That 1, 4, and 5 chord, like somebody humming or singing to themselves. It's very natural for us to sing in those notes. It's very like the pentatonic and the blues. progressions. It's very right at home. It's not trying to write something exceptional or trying to. It's really just it's a beautiful way of showing your feeling, and you don't need words for that. You don't always need words for that.
Yeah. Well, several artists in the blues, have proved that, like Albert Collins, or there's
Yeah.
so many, even the ones that sing too. But I'm just curious as to what is your favorite song to perform?
Well, I love playing Delta. I love playing like this kind of thing, the slide guitar and stuff. I really enjoy that. Just I really love that for the feeling that it gives, and I really enjoy hill country blues quite a bit. I like to play rag music and Piedmont blues,
Oh yeah.
but I feel like Delta blues and hill country are really high energy. Whether you're feeling something that feels, whether it feels soft or whether it feels super empowered, you're still getting a really strong feeling so easily from those styles. I'm tuned right now to an open tuning, so I would kind of have to with so I could probably give you an example of
So what
that.
is? Let me ask you this. I'm very familiar with obviously the Delta blues.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the term, that to my recollection of hill country blues. What part of the country is that from?
Yeah, there's a lot of subgenres within blues. There's Delta, there's Piedmont, there's rag, there's hill country and Texas style and
Oh,
Chicago
you're talking
blues and
about, okay,
jump
you're talking
blues.
about no wait, are you talking about hill country like in Texas? Or you
Hill
said Texas
country
blues?
hill country refers to northern Mississippi blues, so like just
Okay, I
south of
got
the
you.
Tennessee border,
All right, I got you.
which is where Kimbrough was, where the Kimbrough family still is.
Right.
Also where R.L. Burnside was,
Yeah.
and the guys and Robert P. Williams, all those guys were playing hill country blues, and that's northern Mississippi stuff. Yeah.
All right. I was just
I could
curious,
I could
but
retune. I could here. Let me retune, and I'll play you a hill country song.
yeah.
I'll play you a song by Robert P. Williams. I'll do a Robert P. Williams tune, and maybe a little R.L. Burnside as well, just for
Oh,
for good measure.
I love R.L. Burnside and Kimborough. And I didn't know they were
Yeah,
in that category, but oh my God, they're just
yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, Kimbrough, like the hill country style is very much like it's groove oriented. It's not really sitting in that standard 1-4-5 like we get so used to with blues. It's more like Kimbrough might do something like. So it's all like kind of based around a certain, maybe just one groove.
mm,
Like if I'll give you I'll give you an R.L. Burnside song, and his stuff. He's really got his own sound. R.L. did, and so the way that I play his songs is not the same. Like a lot of the Delta stuff, I might play a lot more close to the way it always, to the way those songs were written. But hill country, I tend to kind of take it on in a different manner. But I'll play you this one. This is a jumper on the line, or he sometimes referred to it as "See My Jumper Hanging Out
yeah.
on the Line." Oh, see my jumper, yeah, she's hanging on the line. Yes, and see my jumper, yeah, yeah, hanging on the line. Yes, and I know, baby, something on your mind. Yes, and I know something on your mind. It would have been fine if it had have been for you. Yeah, it would have been fine, fine, baby, had have been for you. Yes, and anyway, darling, you wanna do. Yes, and anyway, you wanna do. Yeah, just like that. Let me fix my supper, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me go to bed. Yeah, let me fix my supper, yeah, yeah. Let me go to bed. Yeah, 'cause this old white lightning done gone to my head. Yes, and this old white lightning done gone to my head. Yeah. See my jumpy egg cheese hanging on the line. Yes, and see my jumpy egg, yeah, hanging on the line. Yes, and I know, babe, something on your mind. Yes, and I know, baby, something on your mind. Yes, and I know, something on your mind. Yes, and I know, baby, something on your mind. Yeah.
Damn, that was dope, man. If we
Thanks,
have the
man.
next Soulogy Fest, maybe in 2026, we're gonna have to get you down there.
Oh, I would love
Part
it.
of it.
I'd
Uh,
love that.
you were talking about, man. That was because I know that song very well because he's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
uh,
Burnside.
but yeah, I don't think that was far from. No, I think it just had, like you said, it has your own flavor to it. But before
Yeah.
we started the show, we were talking about. I don't know. You were just kind of reflecting on. I mean, you live in New York City, man. I lived there for
Yeah.
4 or 5 months, and it was a big part of my coming out, my awakening when I hit the road, with a suitcase years ago. I learned a lot there. I also spent some time in Chicago. The music scene in both places was pretty impressive to me. It was very diverse.
Mm.
And but I think you were kind of reflecting on just kind of the state of everything. And you're like, man, music is like my foundation every day. Like, it's like the
Yeah.
place I can go to, I don't know, find alignment, meditative. I'm not really, but like, I don't know if you could just elaborate on that a little bit, because everybody's got their own experience, everybody's got their own perception, but to live in a place of such diversity, uh, it's such a unique place. If you have never been there, it's just such a colossal place. I mean, there's
Yeah,
just
it
so many
is. Yeah.
nooks and crannies, and I'm sure, in my experience there, which was, it's not as long as you, but, I've seen a lot of things that you don't always see in other places. You can see anything there. You can see
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
walking, but, yeah, what is it? I mean, to me, it feels like that this is your spirituality. This is your essence and your beingness in all this craziness that you tap into every day, or that maybe you're always tapped into.
Yeah. I mean, playing music is it's seemingly. I mean, looking at so much, looking at all of the large parts of my life. You have to move. Sometimes you have to make adjustments because of your money. Jobs come and go, relationships come and go. And these days more than ever before, I find that this guitar is it's the single most consistent thing. Like, it doesn't matter whatever is going on. When I'm able to sit down to play, there's certainty in that, and there's not a whole lot of certainty in a lot of other things. I see a lot of, there's a lot of changes going on for all of us these days, and I know that for me, being able to play it always gives me a peaceful feeling, or at least a steady feeling, and I know that, that's what music does for all of us. I know that if I'm able to do this, most of the week, I'm doing this each night, and a lot of the people that come out, they're coming out for the same need as I am. Like, sometimes I feel like if I can be hollering these blues like I do, it's somewhat, I think, for spectators, sometimes it gives them that feeling that like that there's a lot of incidences, there's a lot of scenarios for all of us where we can't holler. You got to keep composure and all that, and I feel like being with people that are able to holler, or me being with a guitarist that's able to do that on his guitar. Like, the guitar player that I play with the most, his name is Jack O'Hara. He had a band in the early '70s called Eggs Over Easy, and he's just dynamite. I love listening to him play, and when I'm getting ready to go play a show, I'm not thinking about the music really. I mean, I think about the music all the time, but I might not really be thinking about, oh, what are we going to play, or what are these songs about? But when I sit down and he plays those first couple of notes, a smile creeps over my face, no matter what else has gone on in my life. And that contented moment I'm reminded of, oh yeah, that's why we're here. This is what we're doing today. And I know that it gives me a lot of peace, and naturally music is that equilibrium for everybody, kind of, in a big way, to rebalance things, to rebalance your mind, regardless of what else is out of balance.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier when when we had that first exchange. Is that third element for me with the blues is the way that, like you were saying, it could be so many different things. It could be a joyful thing, a funny thing, a heavy thing,
Yeah.
a happy thing, a sad thing, a
Yeah.
satirical thing, and you sit with it. Like, I mean, that's the message I get from it. Like, it could be something that's, my baby left me, or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
they don't run from it. It's just permeates into, the entire body. And I look at that a lot like my own evolution, learning to get in touch with that part of me that feels those same emotions that I have resisted, but in accepting them, the highs,
Yeah, absolutely.
lightness, the
Yeah.
heaviness. And to me, that's what that's what the blues does. For me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's these songs, as old as they are, they any one of them can attach to other people's lives, and it can associate towards their experiences, even though it's maybe not, all the details of the experience are different from one to the next, but we all understand the feelings that are coming along with it. And that's a beautiful point that you're making. It's things that you might not that might be difficult to look at it square in the eyes. You can, but when you're playing a song, you're given that rhythm and that kind of that warm cushion of the music around the topic, around the subject that you're dealing with, the subject at hand, like you said, political or satirical or love or heartbreak or money loss, all these things. And it's a soft way of being able to look at it, and to take it in with music makes it, maybe it is, undoubtedly it's therapeutic. It's, I think the more we take our time to think about those things, the more we process them, and the easily you can move on to the next thing. You take it to the next song.
Yeah, you got to sit with it. Yeah, and then I mean, I guess we're all artists, but like just speaking as an artist or looking back at my body of work over the years, be it poetry or song or whatever, so much of my own, but from my own perception of myself, but also from those that have inspired me. The great, some of the great compositions have come from pain and suffering and what we deem as darkness, and there's something beautiful about that. I mean, I feel like, you can listen to a sad song and you can permeate it in that sadness, but at the same time, there's something about expressing. It's just as inspirational as, say, a high light beam download or something. It's something just as inspirational, just as profound, and really more transformational.
Yeah.
There's something about it. It's like the hard truth. It's like it's authentic, it's raw, and it's sincere and honest. Like you said, and that's a powerful thing that comes through in the full composition. The lyrics, the tonality, the instrument, the beat. Everything. It just hits you. It's like and I think that's one of the reasons, like you said, that some of this really old stuff still carries on. You know what I mean? Like it's not it's not always something that you see in the different musical genres with a great frequency, but with the blues you do.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
You bring to mind a song that is by Eric Bibb. And this one, because this is a good tune that's and it's kind of very much talking on what you're mentioning here. Let me try to find these lyrics. It's funny, a lot of the songs that I have, I memorize them. This one I can never seem to memorize. I've been playing it for years, and I can never seem to memorize this one. But this is an Eric Bibb song. This is an Eric Bibb song that's called "With My Maker I Am One."
Okay.
I'll do a little bit of music.
All right.
A little bit of an intro to it. I'm the preacher, and I'm shouting the news, and I'm the juke joint stomper singing the blues, and I'm the holy roller giving Jesus my cares, and I'm the candy man pushing my wares. Oh, ever when all is said and done with my maker I'm one. And I'm the cowboy, and I'm branding my steers, and I'm the Cherokee brave on a trail of tears, and I'm the master, got the whip in my hand, and I'm the slave from a distant land. Oh, ever when all is said and done, with my maker I'm one. And I'm the Okie on a dusty road, and I'm the banker with the tailor-made clothes, and I'm the hobo in a cold, cold boxcar, and I'm the railroad baron looking out at the yard. Oh, ever when all is said and done, with my maker I'm one. I'm the ghetto brother, I love some blues and his leaves, and I'm the landlord cutting off the heat, and I'm the prisoner, and I'm playing cards, and I'm the warden looking out the cell yard. Oh, ever when all is said and done, with my maker I'm one. And I'm the doctor, I'm saving the sick, and I'm the junkie, baby, all craving a fix, and I'm the homeless child on the street so mean, and I'm the movie star on the silver screen. Oh, ever when all is said and done, with my maker I'm one. And I am the champion on the finish line, and I'm the beggar holding up the sign, and I'm the rookie trying to make the Hall of Fame, and I'm the gangster, I'm fixing the game. Oh, ever when all is said and done, with my maker I am one.
Wow, that was apropos.
Yeah.
I like that because it's like it's some my really early poetry I used to write about. Like, I was an Indian brave in the Shenandoah, and I was, a scene in Jesus' time, and so all the different archetypes and icons, and owning all of that. I think again
Yeah.
that's another part of the blues. That kind of at the beginning reminded me of Son House. What is it, Preacher Blues?
Preaching blues, yeah.
Yeah, where he's used to be a Baptist preacher. I used to be a Baptist preacher, but yeah. So he's it's almost like the yin and yang, the dark and
Yeah.
light, owning both sides of it, and that's such a huge message in university unity consciousness.
Yeah. Storm's coming. Oh, I get me religion, wanna join the Baptist church. Yes, and I get me religion, wanna join the Baptist church. And so I don't have to work. Yeah, one Dickens woke up, yes, and he began to grin. Wow, it's storming. Oh, yes, my baby got up, yes, and he began to grin. And he said, I'll be so glad going back to the house in again. Wow.
No mistakes.
What's that?
I said there's no mistakes. Energy is energy, man. It's all related.
That storm smells like a wet dog. Yeah, one lady spoke up, yes, and she began to shout. Yeah, that lady spoke up, yes, and she began to shout. She said, I'll be so glad, baby, when the corn liquor gone out. And that Dickens woke up and he said, why don't you hush? Yeah, that Dickens woke up, yes, and he said, oh, go hush. He said, you drink that white lightning, baby, and you cause an awful fuss. And I was in the pulpit, yes, and I'm jumping up and down. And I was in the pulpit, yeah, yeah, jumping up and down. Yeah. Yeah, yes, and I shout the congregation, boy, how's Alabama bound? Lord, I wish I had me having up my hold. Lord, I wish I had me having up my home. Yeah, and I give all the people a long, happy home. Oh, I get me religion, wanna join the Baptist church. Yes, and I get me religion, gonna join the Baptist church. And I'm gonna become a Baptist preacher, baby, so I don't have to work.
Dude, that was crazy. That storm, you could even hear it behind you, man. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's what I mean. It's all connected. I've done too many of these shows. I've seen it happen so many times. Not so much with the music, but I've seen it so many times. Like stuff like this go down.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you. I'm just curious before we get out of here. Uh, but first of all, yeah, thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's been awesome. You know, it's been
It's such a pleasure talking with you, Todd. Every time we get to talk, it feels really right. It feels really right.
well. Hopefully, we'll get to meet in person. I think I kind of feel like that. Maybe next year that'll happen, something like that. Because,
I hope so.
but I was going to ask you. You know, I used to be an avid reader. You know, before the internet, and
Yeah.
for years and years, a couple of decades, and I always like to read nonfiction and a lot of biographies. So I read quite a bit on individual stories, blues musicians, and one
Yeah.
of the stories that I remember was Stevie Ray's biography, and because he was really you know, mostly a guitar player, you know, for a lot of his career. And as he got into his late teens, I think early 20s, he started to sing, and he really captured the same element with the guitar that he was able to do with his voice. And you seem to have the same thing. I'm just wondering, because I remember reading his book, he kind of had to work on it a little bit. Is that something that came natural to you, or did you develop that over
Singing,
time? Yeah, that.
singing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the people will say, like, I think it takes work no matter what. No matter what you're doing,
Yeah.
it's always going to take lots of time and effort, and it's natural now and it's easy now, but it's still something I have to constantly try to be mindful of, and it absolutely takes a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
effort. It
I
takes a
would
lot of
think so.
effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell your ease with it, and I can also, uh, I can actually hear the authenticity of it as well. It kind of reminds me of two or three or four different voices. You know, I think of like even what was his name? His dad was the producer, John Hammond Jr. I think.
Yeah. Hmm.
You know, there's this, but you know, and you don't have to be necessarily, black or Latin or any of it. It can be anything. You can actually capture that the sound itself is leads into to the resonance of the voice. You know, and it's
Yeah, it's like Albert King said. Everybody had the blues. If
yeah,
if a baby in the crib starts crying, can't get that
yeah,
milk bottle fast enough, he got the blues.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, about to.
That was on that 3 CD set I had.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we all are, well, I mean, I guess maybe we can't speak for every last person, but a lot of us, yeah, we got heartbreak, and we got money fears, and we got stability fears, and it's funny, in this society, the way it has been built for us, it's like it's by design, even when you have a good job and you're making your money and you're paying your rent, you're still nervous you're going to lose your job.
Yeah,
When you're in love, you still get scared about the loss of it, about that you could lose that love,
yeah,
when you're sitting with an old relative, and the time isn't long for them, and it's
yeah,
all of us, so many of us have so much concern in our lives,
yeah.
so I mean, that feeling of blues, yeah, I mean, like I've got a couple of friends that'll be like, man, I don't like the blues, but I like the way you do it, and it's like, well, I guess that's the hope of the authenticity, or at least of passing on, or like, rendering, like putting out a feeling that everybody can get behind, you know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's such a pleasure, and I'd love to get together again. You know, in a couple of months, or if you're open to it,
I would
and
love to.
I feel like that. To diversify this platform even more so, especially in these times, because I feel like that, like what you just said, came through in the music too, which is the dynamics of our present shared experience. All of us are affected, and to have a moment, have an hour where we can all kind of just tap in and tune in and share and receive and give, and it's a pleasure. So yeah, I'd love to do that if you're up for it.
Yeah, and it's absolutely my pleasure to share what I do with you, and I really appreciate the time talking with you as well.
All right, brother.
Yes,
I
sir.
love the storm in the background. You better close that window, man. It was going crazy behind you. But listen, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, man. Blessings of peace, love, and grace, and the best to you and yours and all your endeavors. And I hope to see you in the flesh in the next year or so.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so, and all the best to you as well. Thank you, Todd, for taking this time with me.
Yeah, thank you for the experience.